Hey, what's up guys? So time for some more Spectre testing. We're going to be doing some testing here with these two radar detector detectors to see exactly how stealthy the upcoming Uniden R9 is. And it turns out that in practice, this detector is very stealthy. In fact, better than many of Uniden's other detectors, like the R8. It's almost completely stealthy. Not totally, but very close. And some of the results as far as what I saw in testing were actually pretty surprising. And so in this video, we're going to go over the test results. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I saw in testing, and we're going to go over the situations of when it's going to be completely stealth, and in what situations an officer is going to be able to pick up a driver running an R9. So before we get into the test results here, it is worth noting that the company that makes these, Stealth Microsystems, is now out of business. And so these radar detector detectors are no longer being produced. There are still some that are in use, of course, around the world. And so for those of you who are driving around with detectors, it's still very helpful to know this kind of stuff. But I think as time goes on, these results are going to be less and less needed, I guess, as these things kind of fall out of service. But that said, it can be helpful if radar detectors are banned in your area. People sometimes want to know if radar detector detectors can pick them up. The way I'm going to be doing the testing is I'm going to be doing some drive-bys, kind of driving back and forth past the detector in both directions. And then I'm also going to be kind of like pulling up behind the car, simulating as if an officer maybe pulls up behind a driver at a red light. And I'm also going to be doing the same thing kind of like nose to nose with the car, which an officer would never do, but because whereas at the R9 antenna, you get two of them. Both of them are exactly the same, and so kind of doing nose-to-nose gives me another chance to retest the same sort of thing with another copy of the R9. Additionally, toward the end of the testing, the GoPro that was next to me kind of recording as I'm using the Spectre locked up on me. I didn't realize it, so toward the end, you're going to see me actually switch over to the dash cam footage as a backup. Now, as far as placement for the R9, the front head is going to be mounted right here, right down in the bottom of the grill, right alongside you can see my other custom installed detectors. And I'm also putting it over here for testing on this side of the car, since the other car with the Spectre is going to be going up and down this street here. So I'm just bringing it a little bit closer over there, just to see if it gets a little bit easier to detect. And then similar idea right here for the rear antenna. I've just got it mounted right there in the back of my car. My other ones are kind of installed back here in the bumper, again, kind of like a low mount. But for just testing purposes, I just stuck it right there to put it in a comparable location. And then we'll just do our test passes going up and down this street here. And so as you can see, so far against the Spectre III, the R9 is doing outstanding, right? It's an undetectable detector. Now, one thing that I was wondering is if you compare it to something like an R8, for example, that sometimes could be detectable because it's kind of like in line with the Spectre up on the windshield. There's not as much of a height difference, which can impact detection range. And so for that reason, I grabbed the R9 and just kind of wanted to adjust the height to see if I could get the Spectre to alert or not. And again, still no detection. Double checked the R9, the display was still on, and I was curious to see if it was actually still operating and up and running. And so I grabbed my pocket radar out of my glove box, and sure enough, the R9 is still up and running. I also noticed the responsiveness against the pocket radar was very good too, which is typical for Uniden detectors. Next, we can take a look at how it fared against the Spectre Elite. These results actually were kind of surprising to me, so let's go ahead and take a look at them. Standard sensitivity. And so as you can see, there are some situations where the Spectre Elite is able to pick up the R9. It seems to be only at very close range, such as when you're passing the driver, or I guess when the cop is passing the driver, or if they pull up behind a driver, say at a red light. Additionally, it doesn't seem to happen when the detector is running it at standard sensitivity level. This is typically where they recommend running it to help cut down on some of the false alerts that an officer may see. However, if they run it at max sensitivity like this, in that situation, they are sometimes able to pick up the R9. Again, if they're like passing the vehicle, or if they just kind of pull up behind the vehicle at a red light. And then as just a sanity test, I wanted to do some quick runs with the Spectre III again, just to see like if it could detect things or not. And so I did a couple other just quick tests, kind of pulling up behind the car again, front and rear, with both standard and maximum sensitivity. And again, just like before with the Spectre III, I wasn't getting any detections at all. And so yeah, this Uniden R9 did great. It did noticeably better than the R8 that it's based upon. This could be picked up by both the Spectre III and the Elite. This could only be picked up by the Elite and only at close range, whereas this could actually be picked up farther by both radar detectors. And so if you're looking for one of Uniden's detectors that are stealthier, I think the R9 will be a better choice. If you'd like to pick one up, I'll have a link in the video description to where you can grab one. And with that said, thanks for hanging out and watching this video. Hopefully it's been helpful in case you've been considering an R9. Hope you guys are doing well, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.